Hello everyone and welcome to FSN 210, the online section. I'm Katie Facilius and I am the instructor for this section of the course, and I'm really looking forward to working with you this quarter. Since we don't get to meet in person and connect that way, I am hoping that this video may be beneficial, at least to some of you, in terms of making it a little bit easier, less overwhelming or intimidating to navigate this course page and just to get started with the course. So I'm just going to walk you through the entire page so you can see what we've got here. The first thing I want to mention before I forget, if you are not seeing this menu over here on the left, you may just need to click on this little button here with the 3 lines. Otherwise it hides that, which makes it easier maybe to focus on the content, but makes it a little harder to navigate from one section to the other quickly, and also hides some important links like getting to your grades. So I want to make sure you notice that. You can see here, as well as on the syllabus, how to contact me and when to come visit me in my office. I have up here discussion boards for announcements, or FAQs, and of course the syllabus, including the course calendar, are all right here at the top of the course page. So strongly encourage you to take a look at all of those. In general, the documents, whenever possible, are posted as PDFs to make it pretty easy to access them. And of course, you can always download them if you prefer to have a hard copy. So let's take a look at what information you can access here on the course page. First of all, you have a how to use this course page video, which you are watching right now. This is last year's video that's currently posted, but by the time you're watching this, of course, this one will be uploaded. If you'd like to know a little bit more about the person who is teaching you this quarter, since we may not see each other face to face until the first midterm, I have just a brief introduction. It's just a few minutes that might give you a little bit more of a sense of who I am. And I do strongly encourage you not to feel like you can't come to my office hours or can't come speak to me in person or reach out to me in any way just because we are not meeting regularly in a classroom together. I am just as much your instructor as I would be if we were meeting in a more traditional face-to-face format. So get to know me a little bit if that will help break down some barriers and encourage you to come talk to me. I have gone through the syllabus in very great detail, the same way that I would if we were meeting in a face-to-face class. I've got 2 videos here walking you through it. If you are the kind of person who feels like you can just get what you need out of the written information, of course, that is fine. But if you have any questions about any of the content, or if you just feel like you would rather know for sure that we're on the same page, I really encourage you to listen to and watch these videos so you can get a fuller understanding of everything that is covered on the syllabus for the course. Next thing I want to point out, it may look like I've got a bunch of sections here with no content in them. However, that is not the case depending on how other instructors have set up their PolyLearn pages. If you've been using PolyLearn already, you may have seen courses that look like this, but possibly not. So for each module, you can always click on the link and that will get you to all the content. So for instance, for course resources, there's a good amount of information here. First, I outline some information about accessing the online textbook. And then I've got this link here to connect. This is this access to the site was purchased along with your access to the ebook. So you already should have received information about that if you made your purchase at the bookstore. When you click on the link, it takes you to a website that looks like this, gets you to my specific section of the course, and then of course you can enter your email to join the class. I also wanted to briefly show you what it looks like once you are logged into the class. So you are going to access a page that looks like this, and you can see there are multiple resources here. The And our primary ones that I'll point out are the Smart Book and the ebook, as well as the Learn Smart activities. And finally, this Nutrition Calc Plus resource is required to complete the diet analysis project, which is worth 20% of your course grade. This is how you access the weekly Learn Smart activities. For each one, when you are ready to complete it, you can just click on this arrow here, gives you a little bit of information about what you can expect. And then when you click begin, it'll take you to the activity. And I also just wanted to mention, you have all these Learn Smart activities associated with each of the chapters that are assigned, but we also have posted reviews for each of the exams. These are optional, excuse me, but I do encourage you to consider taking these exams, as I think they can be really beneficial preparation to, complete the reviews, because I think they can be really beneficial preparation for the exams. All right, so now we can go back to our course page. And you can also see we've got more general information for using the Connect website and the Nutrition Calc resource on that website. And I also have a link to the registrar's schedules, etc. This is probably a good time to point out that there are several different ways to navigate the course. One is when you're in one of the modules, so we had clicked on the course resources module, you can always go backward or forward to the following module here. This is taking us to the Being Online module, which is pretty short, but so that's one way to get there, is navigating through these arrows. Another is to use this menu. If you have it open on the left, we're on this module right now, but if I want to jump ahead to week 1, I can do that, and it takes me to the relevant module there. And of course, finally, we can always also just navigate back to the home page and scroll to see what's coming up. Something else that I will mention briefly at this point, you'll see that right now you only have access to content through the midterm exam. But of course, as we get closer to that point, I will be opening up the modules for the next section of the quarter leading up to the second midterm exam. So I just want to point out a few other things. I have separate modules here for the major projects. So the diet analysis project has its whole entire own section. There are drop boxes for the 3 different parts of the project, instructions for each, and a lot of additional resources that I hope will help you to be successful in completing the project. I'm also going to point out, you can click here on the instructional video. Because this is such a major project, I have created videos for each of the sections of the project. Each one has a different due date. And like this one and the ones providing an overview of the syllabus, it's essentially the type of information that I would have communicated in class if we were in a traditional face-to-face course. So that module, and then the next one is for our Take Action assignments, which are both posted here. And I will also be adding our online discussion forums, which come up later in the quarter. Those will also be showing up. I already took us briefly to week 1, but let's go back there so you can see how the layout works for each week. So always at the top of the weekly modules, I list what is due for that week. So that'll always be outlined for you so that you can complete anything that is required of you. And for the first week, I actually put the information for chapter 1 in this same module, but after that, I kind of break up the assignments for the week and then the chapters covered, because there are typically multiple chapters, and I think that's a little maybe easier to find things. But for each chapter, let's take a look at how that's broken out. You'll always be able to access slides for the content of that chapter. There are a couple chapters where, for a variety of reasons, I am still using slides from the previous edition of the textbook. That doesn't happen too many times, but when it does, I have always made sure to address any new information that you would need to know. So the slides are here, and I think that depending on your learning style, they can be really beneficial in reinforcing the content that you've already reviewed in the book, helping you to narrow your focus to the information that I, as the instructor, have identified as being especially helpful to you, first in your day-to-day life, but also in terms of what might be most relevant for the way you're going to be assessed in the course. So you can always access those slides. I also will have additional resources that you may or may not choose to access. Sometimes there are web pages like this one. Sometimes there are videos or animations, which I typically post both in Flash and MP4 format to make it easy for everyone to find a version that works for them. And then I also have video lectures for each chapter. So you can access these. Again, this is an attempt to make accessible for anyone who would like it a format that feels more similar to a traditional face-to-face course. So you'll hear me reinforcing concepts, expanding a bit upon them, highlighting nuances, new information, and I definitely do point out some specific things that you definitely won't see on an exam that are just more for your information. And sometimes I will also give you some tips as to, you'll definitely want to know this for the exam. So once more, it's your choice as to whether or not you want to review the videos. I've broken them up into segments so you know what's covered in each. That way, if you maybe don't want to watch all of them, but you think to yourself, oh, there was this one section that I kind of feel like I'd like a little more information on, you can just navigate to that video that covers that content particularly. So that's another potential way to use these videos. Something else that I'm going to navigate to that I wanted to point out, in some of the upcoming weeks, another type of resource that will be posted here is what we're calling a reading review, and it's essentially another exam style quiz. You don't get a grade for it, but it is just one more opportunity to assess your own understanding of the content. Depending on how you learn best, you might find it useful to use this as a pre-assessment about what you already know regarding the content. You might do it after reading the chapter, but before completing the Learn Smart activity, or you may not look at it at all until it's time for the exam, and then go through and complete those optional reading reviews as one more resource to go back and assess your memory and understanding of key concepts from the chapters. Just so you know, I also have posted the information for our midterm exams. They're of course on the syllabus, but also you can see here again on the course page the when and where of the exams. I think that is all of the most important information about how to use the course page, but I want to just say one more time that I welcome your questions and any discussion you want to engage in about nutrition and nutrition-related topics. I am passionate about dietetics and passionate about consumer understanding of the impact that our daily eating habits have on our health and well-being. So I really strongly encourage you to reach out to me for ideas about how to be successful in this course and or any online course, for any questions you have about our content, or just to talk again about your own perspectives and ideas about nutrition. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I look forward to meeting all of you and working with you during this quarter.